Lee, you're going to have to choose. It's either me, your wife of 48 years and our 2 children, or her, our adopted daughter. Family. The technical explanation of it is a bond between people who are related or married. Whether it's your parents who created you, your siblings, your husband or wife, your children, your extended family. Those are the people who are supposed to be your family. They're the ones who are supposed to always be there for you, trust you, support you, love you, and protect you. A lot of people aren't lucky enough to have a family the way it's technically described. Mostly, it could be because some people just have kids way too soon. They're in a bad relationship. They have some kind of problem in their head, or simply that they're just royally messed up. As a child, I really went through a lot with my so-called family, unspeakable things. So I was taken out of my home and placed in a foster home at just 5 years old. I left behind my entire family. My parents, my younger brother, my older sister, and my mean brother. So I went through a foster home and attended kindergarten and first grade while in this home. The principal from the school I was attending heard about my story, and someone had suggested that he gives me a home. I was just a mere little girl that was so small with blue eyes, curly blonde hair, and a lot of emotional baggage. He understood what it meant to take in a child like me. His wife, however, did not. But she was excited to have a daughter since they had 2 boys. They were in their late 50s, so they knew it would take a lot of their time out of their retirement, but they felt they were ready to give me the home they felt I deserved. She was so good to me at first. Read me stories before bed, did my hair, did arts and crafts with me, but she really was so old-fashioned. Once I got older, I really could recognize that growing up with a mom so much older than everyone else meant she had different views of how things should be, and she really couldn't understand even the simple things like girls' fashion and staying in the in crowd, as things were very different when she was my age in the 50s. So we clashed. A lot. My foster dad was still the school principal, but he did everything he could to be around for me. Well, eventually, time came where they were able to adopt me. September 11th, 2003. I remember the day so well. I even have a video of it. I was adopted into a wealthy family versus the poverty I had been born into. So my parents believed that they saved me. Little did they know, I had already been raised in a very different lifestyle than a regular, healthy, and loved child would. It had been so much worse that they really couldn't imagine. I didn't make friends easily. I had a hard time completing schoolwork. I loved dance and sports, but school wasn't the easiest time even though I was very smart. My IQ had been tested at 129 at just 7 years old. But because of my background that no one truly understood other than me, I didn't know how to be what people expected me to be. I didn't fit in like the other kids. Same goes for my adopted family. They didn't know what I went through. I experienced it, not them. Maybe they would never have adopted me had they known what had happened or everything that I went through, but it wasn't ever going to be possible for them to truly understand. Eventually, because of how I was acting, I went to several doctors, and they all suggested I had behavioral issues because that's what my foster mom told them. But my foster mom thought I was too smart to be struggling so much, so she just kept on pushing me. She thought I had this great mind, which I did, but my struggles and experiences just made my mind different. I wasn't who they had expected. As I got older, I was diagnosed with several disorders. I was a bucket full of issues, so that meant getting me into special education. It ruined my life in school because that ended up being how kids judged me. A normal girl who isn't normal. It just didn't make sense. No one understands these kinds of problems at that young an age. I didn't even understand it. I just struggled with people and classes and everything I wanted to do. I just couldn't do it right or with the cool people. I tried for years, but then one day I just stopped trying. I became a private person. I didn't want to talk to anyone, ever. I didn't even want to go to school. I ended up getting suspended. Yeah. Everything you can expect from a nightmare child, that was me. So imagine what this woman must have thought. She must have known she took on more than she could handle. And she showed it. She couldn't make me her perfect replica, and I was becoming too much for her to handle, so she started triggering me to get me to lash out, and then she'd call the cops on me. She was trying to find a way to get rid of me. My adoptive dad didn't like what was going on, so he tried being home for me more. And then the day came when I turned 18. I guess after everything, she had enough. She told my dad that he had to choose between his family with her or me. That I was 18, so he needed to write me out of their lives. He didn't want to do that. Instead, he took me in. He knew that I would struggle, and he still loved me unconditionally. He chose me over a 48-year marriage. He and I struggle every day with all my medications, all my doctor's appointments, all my legal issues. He faces it all with me. I disappoint him time and time again by disappearing and not answering him for days, to just crying and him being right there to help me. He only wants the best for me. He is truly my best friend, my family. I've never had anyone give their whole life to me before. I've struggled since I was a child, but now we struggle together. And believe me, it's a real struggle. We have to figure out how to keep up with my emotions and my health and everything I want to do at the same time. I'm 25, but it's like I'm still 17. I feel grown, but when I'm triggered, I need my dad. My ex-adoptive mom still tries to give her 2 cents every now and then, but then my dad tells her to pound sand. She has no say anymore. She's nothing to me. She's nothing to him, other than the mother of their 2 over 50-year-old sons. So it's me and my dad. My birth dad passed away. It didn't damage me like the thought of losing my dad now. There's no one else in this world who compares to him. We adore my princess cat together all the time, take pictures and send them to each other. When she sits by the door waiting for me, he'll send me a picture to let me know. She's my security. She's my life. I love her as my own. He loves her as if she were his own too. The 3 of us, we are really what it means to be a family. 2 people who aren't even related, and another that's an entirely different species. We might not be the technical term for family, but we are what it really means to be one. We have an amazing relationship. I still struggle and he still helps. I don't work because it's difficult to keep a job, but he helps to support me. He's now 76 years old and he tells me he can't leave me like this in a world going nowhere. He fears I'm going to struggle without him, and he tries his hardest to make sure I become successful. No one has ever loved me as much as he has, not even my actual family. He didn't birth me. He didn't even raise me from birth to 7. But he made me into the person I am today. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here or I'd be homeless. He may not be able to give me everything he wants, but he gives me everything I need. He supports me. He loves me. He's there for me. I have so many issues from my childhood I'm dealing with, but he has made me stronger. I know I will be okay. The struggle is real. It tears people apart and it's a repetitive cycle. Be grateful to those who support you through everything. Don't take advantage of them. And if you do, let them know you acknowledge you made a mistake and let them know you want to fix it, and they will help you. There are people out there that you can find to be your reason to live, because sometimes, as someone with disorders, it takes a physical being to help you hold on. I'm so grateful to have my dad. It will never be easy. It won't be easy for him, just like it isn't easy for me. But he understands that, and he's there for me no matter what. He's my superhero. I don't know what I would do without him, without his love and support. He's truly the best dad I could have ever asked for. He makes up for me not having a mom. He makes up for not having friends. We're each other's best friend, each other's family, and everything to each other. And even when it gets tough, I just remember that, and it helps me to get through it.